With regards to the blockade, like to me, it seems like a genius solution that basically you can end the whole thing in like a month with no ground invasion because the biggest problem that is facing the Iranian people right now would be the militias, and they would leave if they don't get paid.
Yes.
But then I'm hearing things, and I saw a Trump Truth or X post or whatever saying that essentially, okay, we're gonna open it up. Like the point is tit for tat. If the regime allows people through Hormuz, then we're gonna allow China to do things with Iran. I don't understand what would be the thinking there. Like it seems like they're still going for a ground invasion in terms of bringing in the troops, but you can like potentially get forgo it altogether with the blockade if it goes cleanly. So that's the first
Yeah.
question.
So wait. So the question is your question? Are we still? Do you think that the Americans? Do I think the Americans are still going to go with the ground invasion, or is this so a much better option that they might not go with that? Is that your question? Like they might just do the
I
block
don't
for
know.
me?
Yeah, like what? My question is why, seeing as it appears as though they're using it as a tool for leverage as opposed to its own thing, like they're
Mm.
trying to pressure the regime into going either coming back to the table or opening up the strait as they promised to do, as opposed to just doing it for the sake of doing it because it's really good.
The way I look at it is that the United States is showing all the option to the Islamic Republic, all the options that it has at different levels of pressure points. So, look, I could do a blockade right now, but I also have all of this forces for ground operations coming to the region, so I could do more. Like I don't. If you ask me, like some people here might say that oh, the Americans have a plan that step by step they already have in mind, and we're just going through every step, and as everything has been predetermined. I don't think that's the case. I think that the Americans are taking actions and then waiting to see how the Islamic Republic responds and then making a decision based on the way that the Islamic Republic responds as we go through this, right? So I think that all of these military forces coming into the region is not because there's a specific plan in mind, is because they just want to increase the options that they have, right? So
I'll clarify what
yeah,
I mean. I agree with you there, and that's precisely why I'm surprised that it seems as though, like, from the and this is, like, new from today, and it might be, like, fog of war stuff, but it seems as though Trump is using the blockade as leverage to get them to open up Hormuz as opposed to just doing the blockade for its own sake, like, where he's doing tit for tat with allowing Chinese ships to go through and stuff like that. And that is
I
what
don't know
what's
if it's
surprising
for
to me.
I don't know if it's for opening the Strait of Hormuz. I think it's for the it is for that, but it's mainly for the negotiations, isn't it? It's
Yeah, no,
mainly
so it's both of those things. My issue is, like, why not just do it for its own sake? Because it's a really good solution, and, like, you wouldn't know it's
well,
a good solution before doing it, but based on the reaction, it seems to be like they
yes.
don't really have much to do with it because the ships presumably because the ships are far away enough, and they don't have good tools that can actually target them effectively, and presumably they have, like, air defense system for the few things that would.
I mean, okay, so there's a legality of it that a lot of people are just talking about. So
Oh, okay. So the
yes.
the other question, it's either for you or for Jeffrey. Like I'm really over the last few months, and it might change now, but over the last few months, like it seemed like Saudi Arabia was taking a hard pivot towards the Muslim Brotherhood. Goldie, you and Goldie mentioned the Muslim Brotherhood today in the show, so that brought up the question. Like it was a pivoting towards Turkey and Qatar as like reliable partners, which was surprising to me based on like my knowledge of Saudi Arabia. I could not make sense of it yet.
I wouldn't call that a pivot towards Muslim Brotherhood. Okay. This is more of a mm, economic thing and a military strategy thing. It's not an ideological thing. Like the Saudis are not going to turn towards Muslim Brotherhood. Okay. Just because Qatar and Turkey have Muslim Brotherhood ideology, this pivot is more about econ and military strategy. It's not about getting closer to the ideology. Do you know what I mean?
So I've heard a lot of like changes in, for example, the Friday sermons that correspond to that, and also statements
Mm.
from Saudi officials that sort of do make it appear, at least on the surface, as a pivot.
Like what? Like what have you heard?
Like there are sermons that go back to being very explicitly anti-Jewish and anti-Israel in a way that was scaled back slowly over the last
Well,
few years.
that sounds more of a pivot towards Israel than Muslim Brotherhood. In fact, if anything, that seems like a pivot away from Muslim Brotherhood.
No, so it used to be scaled back things against Israel. So there were sermons like there used to be a scale back over the last few years against Israel, and over the last few months, it's been like rapidly increasing, and
Oh,
now
it's
they're talking
increasing.
way more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
What?
they've been talking
That
more against Israel. I can, if you want, I can
I
try to
haven't
find
seen.
and send it to you
I
on
haven't
WhatsApp.
seen that. That would
Have
be
it.
surprising to me. So I would be happy to see that.
Right. So
And
that's
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be. Wait, I wouldn't be happy to see that. Meaning, I would want to get that information. Like,
yes. Yeah,
I would be happy to have
I
more
would
information.
appreciate that
I,
information. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Okay, just wanted to be clear here. I do not get happy when people are promoting genocide against the Jews. That's not what I was saying. Right. You also wanted to Jeffrey to see if like
If Jeffrey has a good answer for this.
Has I mean, generally, from my knowledge of the House of Saud, the current Prince Faisal, there's like a difference between the dad and the son and how they view things. I have to be careful how I say this. They don't have the same idea on things. They don't have the same idea on things when it comes to Gaza. They don't have the same idea on things when it comes to Transjordanians. They don't have the same idea when it comes to being pro Israel. I mean, the current the son is far more pro Israel than his dad.
So there's an internal power struggle. Is that what I?
I don't know if there's a power struggle. It's more like they have a there is a significant break between how they view shit. Because of certain things, that's the most polite way I could probably put it without pissing off some people.
Okay.
what
Okay.
here. Let me read it quick. Oh, do you have time or no?
Okay, go ahead.
So really quick, Saudi Arabia still designates the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization, but recent tactical shifts suggest a pragmatic warming up in specific regional conflicts. So, for example, in Yemen, Saudi Arabia continues to back the Islah Party, the Brotherhood's Yemeni affiliate, to counter Houthi rebels and balance against UAE-backed southern separatists. Strategic realignment in Riyadh has deepened ties with Turkey and Qatar, the Brotherhood's primary regional sponsors, moving away from the rigid anti-Islamist bloc it once led with the UAE. In Sudan, in the ongoing civil war, Saudi Arabia has found itself aligned with Turkey and Qatar in supporting the Sudanese army, which includes elements of the local Muslim Brotherhood against the UAE-backed RSF. And then the counter signal, official hostility. Despite tactical cooperation, the Saudi government officially welcomed the U.S. designation of several Brotherhood branches in Sudan, Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon as terrorist organizations in early 2026. So the bottom line is that it is not an ideological. Oh, so I was correct. It is not an ideological reconciliation. Saudi Arabia is prioritizing national security and regional dominance over its previous zero tolerance policy, using Brotherhood linked groups as pragmatic tools when interests align.
Okay. And so that doesn't explain the issue with the sermons, and I'll try to find stuff about that.
Okay.
But thanks.
Yep. No worries.
Okay, Sketch and then Jeffrey, you get 30 seconds each, then we move on.
You guys were talking about, is this the blockade like about opening the strait or about bringing down the regime? My question about if it's about bringing down the regime, they can move boats inside. And I remember when we were talking about Venezuela before all this went off, one of the things that were talked about in the about the shadow fleet is that some of those tankers would go from Iran to other countries within that Gulf and kind of like wash the oil and pass it through some refineries, trade it within the Gulf without coming out. And I know they have angered everyone around them, but a big boat of oil is a lot of money. So I would wonder if there is someone watching the moves within the Gulf that Iran is making with those boats, so they could wash that oil without having to leave through another country. So that's something I would like keep an eye on. And I also know that there were big moves being made around all the Yemen, around a lot of places in Africa too, that had the Saudis at odds with UAE. I've seen like a couple of videos, I don't remember it, but I think you hit the nail on the head with that, what you were reading, that's the thing that's causing this shift, that it's like the sermons might be like, okay, you get more of green light because of these things, but I don't, I know that I think you're both right. It's not ideological, but something is going down with the Brotherhood.
The current prince's position on the Muslim Brotherhood in Israel is he's very strongly hostile to the Muslim Brotherhood and views it as an origins of a lot of terrorism, and is very pragmatic regarding the state of Israel. If you're going from Prince Fasil to today, you're seeing a consistent shift towards those two particular positions.